Okay. So now I'm really pushing a lot of my tech to the limit. Okay, so just as I was talking about this, I just recorded a video. Now I'm using my iPhone here. I got my Android recording a podcast for Spreaker. And I was just talking about this, and I'm going to talk about it again. This is a good lead in to keep surrounded with this information. So here we go. This is a...
Who has the time to write a book?
Right.
Or probably
So
to
here we
control
go.
the planet?
This is what this...
How would I go about it using some of the esoteric principles that we've been talking about?
Not this. Here we
Now,
go.
my purpose in
This
this video...
is
You
it.
have brilliant ideas, but who has the time to write a book or produce a podcast from scratch? The good news? You don't have to. This is Bookle.
All right.
Writing assistant that transforms your thoughts into full-length, professionally formatted books. And with Podcaster, creating a high-quality podcast is just as simple. AI does the narration, editing, and even adds the perfect background music. Instead of spending thousands on ghostwriters and producers, you can have unlimited book and podcast creation for just $29 per month instead of $99.
That's crazy.
But only for a very limited time. Don't wait until it's too late. Click below and claim this
So listen to
exclusive
what
deal.
they're saying.
You have brilliant ideas, but who has the time to write a book or produce a podcast from scratch? The good news? You don't have to.
Right?
This
So
is
who has the time to write a book or produce a podcast from scratch? And so this is exactly what I've been talking about with this 3-step process that goes back to the old school. Dictation, transcription, summarization, right? Which is dictation, record your voice, record yourself speaking, which is, I'm doing it on video. You're going to get a transcription for that. I'm going to figure out if there's a way for me to actually copy the text transcription from YouTube, because the YouTube transcription software is actually really good. I'm making a podcast here. I'm not actually using the Samsung voice recorder that I use sometimes to then use that to transcribe the audio into text and then summarize that text. But I have examples on worldreadingclub.com. The latest one on worldreadingclub.com actually is called South Golden Doom. And there's another YouTube video before this one that links both of those articles. But it's called South Golden Doom and the Interest Graph. Content Creation Simplified, a 3-step process. And that 3-step process is what I just said: dictation, transcription, summarization. And then I talk about it again on HakeemAlexander.com. It says 1 way to rapidly generate original content without relying completely on AI. So, and it's not even relying on AI. It's using AI as a tool to assist you. So again, dictation, transcription, summarization. You can create content rapidly in this way. And so it's simply by stream of consciousness, speaking your voice, then using the software to transcribe it, creating the text, and then further using the software AI to summarize that text. And the way that I've been doing it, which the one example, there's other examples online already. I believe actually the other examples are already on uniquequilibrium.com, but let me see. On uniquequilibrium.com, let's see. Yeah. So on uniquequilibrium.com, there's something called Hacking Health for Men Over 40 and Ethical AI Applications. And it has unedited summary and then the unedited transcript below. So I've already been putting into practice, and this was in January 30th of 2025. So, man, we're February 26th. So over a month ago, I already did that. Wow. Time is really freaking flying. Is that crazy or what? Is that really January 30th? Holy cow. Yeah, that is January 30th of 2025 when I did that. And then what's this other one? AI-assisted content creation, a human-in-the-loop approach. AI summary of human, Hakeem voice notes. Yep. And, man, so I've already been doing it. I'm actually going to include all of these in the video, these examples, just so that they're neatly tucked into the video. So I got them on Uniquequilibrium, HakeemAlexander.com, and WorldReadingClub.com. So I've already been putting it into practice. And so it's really simple, and I'm going to get into some more of this. There's a way that you can actually sort of bypass a lot of the gatekeepers and earn your own income from creating audiobooks without jumping through a lot of hoops. There's actually free ways you can do this in the exact same way that I'm talking about. And if you want to really refine it, of course, you got to take the time to edit your transcription and make sure you look through it and all that stuff like that. But I'm going to do some really raw, rough and dirty text and create books with just a straight raw, unedited transcriptions. I might edit in the way where I space it out a little bit, so it's not just one compressed clump of text which just looks crazy. It still might read crazy, but it'll actually make some sense because it's transcribed from what I'm actually saying. And then because I'm going to put the summary before it, it'll make a lot of sense. I think there's something beautiful about that to me. It's an experiment, but I think it's just an awesome one. It's really using the AI as a tool. So I'll just touch on how really quickly, let's see. Yeah, both of these have been going for about almost 7 minutes. So I'll touch on the process that you can do this for free across, and that is creating a podcast and a blog and a book, right? So here's how to be, and I haven't actually even spoken it through yet, but I know how to do it because I have all the pieces that I've already been doing. I just haven't taken that step yet to do it this way to create a book. So the fundamental basic is the dictation, right? Speaking into a recording device. Like I said, I've been using the Android voice recorder that has a built-in transcription software, and then the AI also makes a summary of it. So that's the first step, is to find a recorder that transcribes and summarizes your audio. So now you have the audio and you have two different pieces of text. One is the transcription and one is the transcription summary. Now you can easily set up a WordPress blog for free from WordPress. As a matter of fact, if I'm going to type in WordPress right here, right now, and just kind of go through this. And already looks like I typed it in earlier. So WordPress free. So free website builder, WordPress.com. Free, simple, and ready to grow. Get started with a free, one-of-a-kind website, then take it even further with powerful plans to help you grow, sell, and succeed. Right? Create it, own it, earn from it. I'm going to actually go through an exact process of that right now and then start to refine it as time goes along. So let's just say you've set up your WordPress blog, right? Now, WordPress allows you to embed podcasts into the blog. And of course, that's going to come from the audio that you've recorded using your voice. That's going to be the podcast. You're simply just going to take the audio from whatever voice recorder you're using. Most people have iPhones. I'm just using the example that I have an Android. This video is being recorded for YouTube on my iPhone, while the podcast right now is being recorded on my Samsung, my Android. So we're going to take that audio, upload it to a podcasting software. Now, here's the podcasting software. You can use whatever you want, but because I want to give exact steps of what I'm doing to make this really clear, is I'm going to talk about the podcasting software that I'm using. Right now, I'm not affiliated with them, so I don't get any money from telling you about this or from WordPress either. I just happen to be using these tools, so I know how to use them. And so the way to do this is you go to Spreaker, Spreaker, right? And if you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this on any one of the podcasting channels that you get this from, you'll be able to trace it back to Spreaker. You can just even look up my name, Hakeem Ali Bokus Alexander, or Uniquilibrium, and you'll find a bunch of podcasts on there. You can even look up World Reading Club, like all that stuff. If you Google it, you'll find me. So what you do is Spreaker, actually, let me see. I'm going to go to Spreaker real quick and check on there. Hopefully I'm not logged in right now. And I wonder what their free account allows you to do. Okay, so I don't want to sign up right now. So let's see. No, it's asking me to create an account. But from what I last know, here's really what the gist of this, so you know the process, right? Once you've created the audio, you upload that audio to your podcasting software of choice. I'm saying Spreaker because the last time I checked, with a free account, you can record up to 15 minutes at a time, right? And then there's a certain amount of podcast hosting space that you get. It's a certain amount of gigabytes. I don't know if it's like 3 gigs or 5 gigs, something small. And with that, you can only have a certain amount of those 15-minute podcasts on there, right? But this is a good way to constrain you to making your first book and your first podcast at the same time, which will then double as your audio book that you can get paid for. So here's how to do that. So you get the free Spreaker account. When you make your recording, you make sure it's no more than 15 minutes. Make it like 14 minutes and start wrapping up at 14 minutes, because you can only upload 15 minutes at a time to Spreaker, right? This is the format I'm giving. Remember, I'm talking about Spreaker because I use it. I'm familiar with it. Okay. Then you make that transcription and that summarization. Now, what you can do is, once you've uploaded the podcast to Spreaker for 15 minutes, you then just take the summary and you plug that into the show notes, right? Then once you plug that into the show notes, you can put a little note that says, unedited summary for full transcription, go to, and you put the link in that goes to your free WordPress blog, right? And then you'll also have the summary and the complete transcription there as well. And then what you can do is you'll also take that player from Spreaker, because they have a feature where you can get the HTML code, and you'll embed that, or there's an automatic feature where you can just take one link and you embed it. You put the link there and it embeds the player into the blog. So now what the order that I do it is, and you can see it on worldreadingclub.com and also on uniquilibrium.com and hakeemalexander.com. You'll see there's the podcast in the blog, followed by the transcript summary, followed by the transcript. Now, how can you turn this into a book and an ebook and a podcast? Well, it's already a podcast when you upload the audio there, right? But what Spreaker allows, the feature, and I still believe that this is possible also with the free account, that you can put the podcast audio behind a paywall, and that people have to sign up for a subscription in order to listen to the podcast. Boom. That's how you get paid for your ebook right there. It's you speaking it. And I know that we don't need external validation from other people, but I know that from hearing some little snippets of what Gary Vaynerchuk was talking about, him reading his latest book, which I believe, what is it called right now? It was supposed to be, as he says in his talks, it was supposed to be called Jab, 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 Left Hook, because his book before was Jab, 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 Right Hook. But, oh man, it's not in my mind right now. It doesn't really matter. But I remember some people complimenting him on saying they like how he kind of goes off of the text of the book and starts explaining and talking about different things, reading the book, which is great. So it doesn't have to be like hard and fast rules like most people are doing ebook reading and stuff like that. It's like It's your own thing. You can take the first recording that you made, that is the transcription and the summarization, and make that your ebook. It's a podcast. And you're not really reading it because the transcription is made from that. So it's like, it's the same thing. It's really genius. It's all bundled up in one. So you put that behind the paywall so somebody can hear you reading the transcription. Now, those transcriptions, if you do 10 15-minute recordings, right? And you make those riffs, because like Seth Godin's book, his latest book, This Is Strategy, there are no page numbers, there are no chapters, they're just different riffs. And there's like 297, I think, that I've heard there are. And so you can record these 10 different riffs for about 15 minutes long, which will equal 150 minutes, which is a 2.5-hour book, right? And so somebody could listen to 2.5 hours, or they read however long that takes them to get through that, right? Some people read faster, some read slower, but you've put in 2 hours and 30 minutes of content. That's your voice, a transcription, and a summarization. And the transcription and summarization are both what go into your book. What you do is you get an editor, an ebook editor. You can do it for free in Canva, for example, and you just take that, do it in this order. Take the transcription summary and put that first. You could even put a little title on it, like make up a name for the riff. It could be based off of, like, for example, the Samsung recording software. It makes up a title at the beginning of each section of the summary. So if I just look right now, for example, here in this one on uniquequilibrium.com, it's AI summary of human, Hakeem's voice notes. The first in bold of the first section that it summarizes says AI assisted content creation, a human in the loop approach. So you could easily make that the name of your first riff, right? Just the name of that very first section of what it did, and then have the summary come after that, right? And that's the name of your first riff. You have the summary, and then you have the full transcript. So it summarizes, so somebody can look through it real quickly, and then they can look through the transcript, and that's the text of the book. And you just do that with each of the other 9 riffs, 9 podcasts. The title is the first heading of the summary for each one, and then you have 10 of them all together. And that's how you put together your book. You just put them in these different riffs. So like I said, there are people who are successful already. That's why I'm making these case studies, just so you can show, like, this is not all my just original idea. Like, even the idea of dictation, transcription, summarization, I first heard about Dan Kennedy making books like that. And then, the controversial religious founder L. Ron Hubbard made a lot of his text like that. So it's something that people have been doing, for a long time, is dictation, transcription, summarization. At least I know dictation and transcription. I don't know about the summarization because the AI is doing that now, but of course, people who were transcribing it could make summaries of it as well. And of course, books have summaries, so on and so forth. There's cliff notes, right? This was all done by humans before, but this is a rapid fire way for you to be able to make content that is human centered. It's founded on human knowledge. It's founded on you and your original perspective, your original passion, your original expertise. And it may not be perfect. You may not be an English whiz. You may not be a writing expert. You may not be an author, but you can certainly get your words and your voice into a podcast form, written form, because you make a transcription, and an additional written in summarizations. And they could be completely 2 different texts. You can make 2 different books. You can make one that's just the summary bullet points, and you can make one that's just the transcription bullet points, and you can make a third one that's the transcription summaries and the transcription together, right? And market those as 3 different pieces. It doesn't matter, right? People are going to consume it in one way, shape, or form, and you can name all 3 of those different things something different. Put those podcasts behind paywalls. People will pay. They can hear your ebook. Look, a lot of people might say, who's going to pay for it? Look, people will if you're a good marketer. This brings me back to something I was saying about, it doesn't matter if you're not a good author, a good writer, whatever. If you have an idea and you believe in it and you really feel like it can help people, I remember a story from Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, how one of the interviewers, she was a little bit upset because she was saying, I have a degree in journalism and I'm a professional writer, da da da. And he says, look, notice that it says New York Times best-selling author, not New York Times best writing author. It says New York Times best-selling author. And then even Gary Chuck mentioned something like this. He says, you could put stuff out there, people selling books about marketing, talking about being good marketers. It's like, but if you can't sell any books, you're not good at marketing. So that's the thing. You get good at marketing and you can sell your books. You can get people to pay, to go behind that paywall, to listen to your voice speaking. If you're really passionate about it, you really have something to say, it's really going to help people. The thing is that to find your audience, make sure that you have something really good to say to them, and then make sure you get that message in front of them. And in various different ways you can. You can do it online, you can do it offline, but you'll feel really good about doing it. It won't feel like selling or anything like that. It'll feel more like sharing, even though it is selling, it is marketing, which are different things, right? And, I defer to Seth Godin for that. Marketing used to be advertising, the same thing before. Marketing, selling are different things. Gary Vaynerchuk says, if your marketing's not good, then you have to be good at selling. Because marketing is, and this even comes back from Dan Kennedy and Russell Brunson. Well, Dan Kennedy is the first one who started with the magnetic marketing, and then other people started doing attraction marketing and all that other stuff like that. But it's really marketing. If you're good at marketing, people will come to you. If you're not good at marketing, then you have to go to people and sell to them. That's what's awesome about it. And one of the ways you can get good at marketing is by creating content like I'm doing. And I've noticed that I'm getting much better at marketing because more people are coming towards my content and they're finding it and they're listening to my podcast and watching my videos and buying my books, and that's it. And I've had somebody sign up. The first time I saw a sign up for somebody to go behind my paywall just to listen to my binaural beats, I was like, I'm on it. And now little by little, I'm getting trickles in of people following. You got a new YouTube follower here, follower there. People liking different content on Instagram. And even I'm not focusing on those things so much. And I'm taking the Seth Godin approach of focusing on what I feel that I can serve people the best with is blogging and speaking. So that's writing my blogs and podcasting. And then sometimes when I'm doing work like this and brainstorming, I'll just turn on the video, and I also have the podcast going on as well. But this podcast, when I publish it, it's automatically going to send it out to X and then to a Facebook page that's my name, Hakeem Ali Bokus Alexander. Now that's a little bit lazy, right? But at least I'm getting it out there and I don't have to put any extra effort to post them. It's just automatically done from the Spreaker software. So I went in on that, but I want to just go over again that you can do this stuff for free. Here are the things you need that you can get you can do this all with free accounts. I'm using a free voice recorder that has a free transcription software and a free summarization software using AI from my Android device. I know that there are ones because I looked it up to start doing it with my iPhone, but there are the same thing. You can record, transcribe, and summarize with the iPhone, right? So I'm using a free voice recorder that has free transcription and free summarization with AI, right? The second thing, WordPress blog. It could be any blog, but I use WordPress. That's the second free thing. The third free thing is Canva. You can get a free Canva account and you can make free ebooks with Canva. And so you start like this. You record 14 and a half minutes of audio, which will amount to about 15 minutes. Then you use the transcription software to transcribe it into text, and then further boil that down, refine that into a summary. Now you have your voice recording, a full transcription of it, however imperfect that might be, and a summarization. The next thing you do, you upload that audio to the podcast software at Spreaker for free, your free account that allows you up to 15 minutes. Then in the show notes, you also copy and paste, that is, the transcription summary into that, so there's something there for the people who want to go to the podcast. Then you put a link. You can hyperlink it or spell out the full link that says full transcription available at, and then link it to the blog. When they get to that blog, what you'll have done is you'll have taken that podcast, because you can do this all afterwards. You'll take that podcast from Spreaker, embed that at the top of the page of the WordPress blog. Right underneath that, you can have the transcription summary, and then following that by the full transcript. And you can label it and let people know however that's going to work out, right? Then you can package all of that stuff up. You can take, after you've done 10 of those, right, you can then, in whatever order you want to, take all of that text to Canva and make those different riffs, title them as perhaps the first heading of the transcription, or choose one of those headings, because the transcription makes several headings. Like the first one here, I'm looking at uniquequilibrium.com, is the AI assisted content creation, a human in the loop approach. The next one is a heading that says post transcription workflow. The next one says content creation optimization. So you have these little bold headers of each section of transcription that you can use. That's automatically generated for you, right? Now you put those together. You put 10 of them that were 15 minutes each. You have a 2 hour and 30 minute read. That's a good read right there. 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's not too long. It's not too short. That's 2 hours and 30 minutes of somebody's life. And if you put some good content in there that's going to help them with something, you're doing good. Like what I'm talking about right now, this is freaking fire. This is gold. This is like so simple, and like it's easy to do. Well, it's simple to do. It's just, you just got to do it. Like I found that now I understand the reason why there's a whole lot of like motivational and inspirational talks from a lot of business people about this stuff, because I can tell that a lot of people may not be as just gung-ho about it as I am. Like I just go. I care what people think and what people say. It just doesn't stop me from doing anything. So I don't know what that is. I get it. I hear what people say, and like sometimes things people say and criticisms that they make, or they try to make fun of me or whatever, I can get a little bit upset about it, and I want to cuss back at them and be like, you fucking idiot, right? But it doesn't stop me from doing anything, or else I wouldn't have like 20 crazy websites of like random stuff, and 10 podcasts, and all these YouTube channels of just insane nonsense, which only now after it took me a long time to decide to find a balance between some best practices and still being my rogue self. Like and I'm really actually finding that it's not that much of a difference in a tweak. It's just doing something like what I'm doing right now. So I'm giving people something valuable. Like I'm showing them, I'm the over the shoulder of the process that I'm doing. And because I really feel like this is an awesome thing, and it's a way to compete with all the AI garbage and bland nonsense that's out there. So, okay, so record your voice, transcribe it, summarize it. Plug that into the podcast, put the show notes with the summary. Take that over to the blog, embed the podcast into the blog, and then follow it up with the summary, the full transcription. Take all of that summary and transcription and put that into one full text, one after the other, and now you have a book, an ebook, and it depends if it's more than 70 something pages, like on Amazon, for example, they'll print it out for you if you want to post it on there, for example. But for right now, this is all digital products, digital ebooks. You can make it people to download. You can, and then the thing is I know people say, well, if you make it for free, if it's on the website, why would people pay for the book? If you're a good marketer, they will. If people like you, if they know, like, and trust you, KLT, so I'll use some of those standard terms, they will do it to support you. And then plus, you can put like every other one, like 5 out of the 10 audios, be available to the public, while the other ones are behind the paywall. So if people want the complete thing, they'll pay for it. Like, you can do all kinds of things to figure out how to entice people. There's so many things you can learn online about marketing. If you want to, you can go to blogdealer.com, my site. I have a company white labeled and allowed me to integrate and put all those courses on that website, and you can learn tons and tons about marketing from there. There's many different ways. It's all beginner marketing stuff, but the caveat to that is that it may say beginner, but there are gold nuggets in all of that stuff. It's always a good idea to learn as much as you possibly can. It's one of the reasons why I have all this stuff going around in my head, and why I've been able to simplify it for myself and just deploy, and get results and keep refining as I go along. And then there's just something about doing that also builds confidence, which is one of the reasons why no matter what people say, it doesn't stop me from doing anything. So let's see, we're up at 30 minutes right now for these two. So yeah, I'm gonna upload this video to YouTube and post this podcast. I think this is a good thing here. And I opened it up with that video. I was on Instagram, and it was just, the AI was listening. Let's hear it again. What are they saying?
$99, but only for a very limited time. Don't wait until it's too late. Click below and claim this exclusive deal. You have brilliant ideas, but who has the time to write a book or produce a podcast from scratch?
Right?
The good news?
Who has the time to write a book or produce a podcast from scratch, right? So that's what we're up against. Not really. It's just a fun way to think about it. These people are going to buy that for $29 a month and generate stuff that is just completely from AI. They're going to make podcasts and books just completely from AI, which I've extensively over a year used AI to generate and assist me in generating books. I know what it's like. I've seen what it can do. There's some things that are impressive about it. Others are lackluster. Like Seth Godin talks about, the AI is going to replace a lot of mediocre. Be extraordinary, do something cool. What I'm doing here, this is a cool thing. Use your voice. You can literally speak a book into existence with your own voice. The thing you got to understand is that you have to be confident about your own perspective, and that you have a journey, you have a story. And the only way that you're going to figure out whether or not there's a market for it is either you do extensive market research, or you just start deploying, and paying attention to the results that you get. So this is some badassery. Let's go.